I thought I would take a look at two comics here. This one's called Bettie Page, and the other one is the latest edition of Captain Marvel number 5. I wanted to compare a bright, fun style with an intriguing storyline versus Captain Marvel, which is just politically correct cancer. This is a cover. It tells you a lot about the state of mind of the artists and the creators. That it's going to be very lighthearted and fun, and also has the classic hairstyle. Kind of throws you back to pinups from the 40s. This is Captain Marvel 5. This is not a very good cover. I know they probably thought it was artistic with the symmetry and whatnot, but that's your main character and you can't see her. She looks like she's got knee pads on. The only good thing I could say is the reflection works pretty well, but I mean, that's the cover. No, that's not a cover. That's an error. I guess these are alternative covers for Bettie Page. I've never heard of this comic. This is a fight scene where she's apparently fighting the patriarchy. I don't know this guy. He's Plutonium Man or Atomic Man or something ridiculous. She tells him to shut up and he says, "You need to learn not to strike me, woman." The problem with propaganda like this is they need to shoehorn the message in. They can't write something without a message, and sometimes it just doesn't fit, so they got to force it in. Alternative covers. That looks like a fun comic. I don't even know what's going on here. One thing about this, though, is Zach was talking about when artists use the same color. Well, this is one image with inset images, but I never thought about that before. He mentioned about how they are using the same color palette, and now that he mentions it, yeah, I guess you could see. Okay, this is supposed to be an explosion, so this is supposed to be very, very bright against a black background, and these rocket tails are supposed to be very, very bright, and it doesn't look bright. It looks all kind of washed out. The one with the aircraft at the top, you can't really see it. That's your main character, and it just this is a great alternative cover. Look at that. That is fantastic. These are the good girls, the protagonists, but you can barely see them. You just see some guy with his shaved heads, which is funny because he has a shaved side of his head. She has a shaved side of her head, and then there's another character who has a shaved side of his head. So I don't know. They really love that mentally ill haircut. This is your main character. Is male, female? These are the two main characters, two protagonists. I guess they look okay, but that's not a leading shot. Can you tell? Okay, this is Betty. What a fantastic image. This makes you think of H.P. Lovecraft, obviously. But, the setting with the girl standing before the monster, looking up at this horror from the depths. It makes you think that it's obvious. It's a nightmare scene. It's not a real image. This is a comic book, man. This is obviously beautiful girl, and then we're back to Captain Marvel. Mental illness haircut. All the characters look like they're just scowling and just ticked off. These are your leaders, a bunch of 100-pound women with 140-pound guy. That's the son of the bad guy. I don't know, we'll call him Uranium. What is uranium? 238. What's plutonium? 239, 240 or something? I don't know. These are they should have called them Half-Life or something clever, These are your lead characters. Captain Gender Studies with the knee pads. At least she has that. Note the facial expressions. Just cranky, just pissed off, and now boom. Partially, I don't know if it's a fair comparison because a comic like this has a lot of imagery from the mid 40s, and that could be getting points just for that. And I'm not about to let some interdimensional bully put his green tentacles on my girl. Now be gone, 12 Eyes, before I put a size 10 tap shoe in your behind. So I don't really know what's going on here. If this is a dream sequence, it doesn't seem like a dream sequence. It seems like something else. But look, a little bit of romance. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of romance. I think most stories, if you don't know how to write a story, you should stick with the action adventure with a little bit of romance. It's just it's old, but it really, really works. And this is just paint by the numbers. They know they need somebody kicking, and they know they need somebody firing and running, and they need yelling and action, but I don't care about the characters. You don't care about the characters. Nobody reading this cares about these characters. And then just lots of dialogue that, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a wall of dialogue. It's not. If it was interesting, hey, great. I'll read it all the time. You think Psalm is the bomb, don't you, Maya? I do. He's the only thing Plutonium Man sent us. Okay, I don't care. I don't. And the names are just lame. Okay, this girl, she gets a phone call. She's about to go on a mission. She has to shower and drive her old classic Dodge out to the airport, and she doesn't really know what's going on, but it's exciting. It feels like an Indiana. It feels a lot like an Indiana Jones, actually. And I think the time period is, I guess that's probably the mid 40s. So, yeah, I mean, God, look at this. This just works. Beautiful girl, beautiful car, classic airplane. It sells you. This is the mid 40s, or maybe that's 1950. I don't know. It kind of looks a little older but anyway, I mean, if you like this era, you're already drawn in. Beautiful clothing. It's kind of what do they call a setting piece, a set piece or something. And now back to this. Some dude with the sides of his head shaved, mohawk, acting like a total just little Nancy girl. Carol, something is happening to me. Yeah, okay, dude, you're the son of Mr. Plutonium. You should have some kind of special powers, or at least be cool, competent, and capable. But the problem with people who write books like Marvel is they don't know how to elevate women without pushing men down. You don't need to do that. You can make everyone awesome. You just need to give them challenges and stop grinding this axe that men are bad and women are good, and just gotta get over it. And the image of, okay, clearly when they drew him, they knew they were making him look a certain way. And the image, I don't know, what is this? This is Captain Marvel. Is it a man? It looks like a football player. It looks like a quarterback patting his receiver who just fumbled or something. I don't know. I don't watch football, but this is the woman comforting the lesbian character. Come on, this sucks. You know it sucks when you did it. Look how exciting this is. What is that, Big Ben in the background? I don't know. I probably okay, so this is it's not a propeller, it's a turbofan, so I don't know when they got turbofans. A little bit after World War II. But this story just automatically sucks you in. And I started to read some of the story. It is good. Something about aliens kidnap the queen or something. Super secret spy missions. But this is a comic done really, really well. And this is not. This is sad, man. It's depressing to read this stuff and look at this. And I know the artists can do better than this. I know the writers can do better than this. But you can't write a good story and write propaganda. Just write a good... Okay, here's the thing. If you are a master class storyteller, you can slip propaganda in. But people who write, the Gail Simones of the world, they are not master class storytellers. Look at these. Okay, look at this. It's not adult, but you can tell it's a man and a woman. I mean, it's not. It's very, very mildly suggestive. This is okay. You're allowed to You're allowed to draw men and women as men and women. You don't have to make women look like men or make the men look like women. Have some fun with your art. I mean, half of this book is the clothing and the set of the mid 40s that's really selling it. But it's an interesting story too. I think it has 5 issues. It's just walls of text of this guy acting like it's a total wimp. And come on, Winston Churchill, I guess. I'm told the honor is mine. If Captain Midnight is to be believed, you're the pretty little girl who crashed a flying saucer once. Not so little anymore, but yes, I discovered that if you pull the keys out while they're in the air, they come down. All right, you have my complete attention. I thought this was... I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was in England in the mid-40s, and now you're talking about space aliens, and this beautiful girl was either abducted or she went on a spy mission, and she crashed the space craft. So you're telling me that she's intelligent, she's competent, she doesn't just run away from a fight. She at least took an active role in her defense. See that they're elevating everyone here. They're making everyone look good without making anyone look bad, because they know how to tell a story. Oh God, the football players. And also the facial expressions. They seem more bright and open. The facial expressions in the bodies seem like they're showing more, where in Captain Marvel it feels like they use the clothing to hide the figures. You can just barely see the figures underneath these flowing robes or these power suits or the fur costume that fired blindly over your back because you're just too cool for school. Come on, this is lame. This is unbelievably lame. Killing robots. Well, I don't care about robots. Nobody cares. Oh, goddamn it, dog. Sorry, the dog decided to make herself more comfortable, because that's what dogs do. All right, so you got a alien spacecraft blown up. My first UFO, all my years as a pilot, never saw anything like it. Though actually, it's funny because the United States Air Force is reporting more unidentified flying object sightings. Just kind of weird. So I'm sure it's nothing. But I can see no damage from the UFO's ray beam or what have you. But regardless, I know an attack when I see one. I rush to the royal family's apartments. Everyone inside was knocked out, and I concluded the UFO had fired some kind of, I suppose you call it, sleep ray, silly as that sounds. All right, you got me totally hooked into this story. The juxtaposition between, you see space aliens. You always think of space aliens as somehow being futuristic and super modern, but of course it's relative to the time they investigate when the humans are. Back to... now that I notice these color choices, yeah, they did wash things out a little bit. It's funny how I didn't notice that. This should be black, and these should be super, super bright. I mean, they made a conscious decision, so they must have had a purpose doing it. Now that I notice it doesn't look that great. Like, all this should be dimmed a little bit so you can really see this blast, and this should be maybe cast more of a harsh shadows on their faces. Huh. It's kind of an odd choice, but I don't know much about colors. Someone like, I think you'd have to ask like Canales or one of the artists to explain their choices. Back to a good story. Some alien abduction. Little green man with, H.G. Wells magic sticks. This is awesome. The Queen. They kidnapped the Queen for some reason. What's the American expression? I was a day late and $1 short. Your Majesty, step back from the Queen. That is bad. And then this is... Okay, male, female, 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 female. Nobody wants to see this. I mean, I love powerful women. I like bodybuilders and power lifters. But I like them in person. I don't want to see a big 300-pound... green Hulk. Someone took her breasts away for some reason. That was just cruel. Back to a fun story. And when I awoke, I found to my shame that the Queen was gone. Well, I don't know what you expected to do. They're aliens. No one was permanently injured, but their choice of target demonstrates not only hostility, but an understanding of our culture and power structure. To take the Queen is to inflict maximum damage on English morale. You've kept this under wraps, of course. So, all right. Story has me. And back to Captain Gender Studies. Oh, God. I don't know what kind of insignia that is. An Aston Martin? I think that is that flying signal. If you weren't around during World War II, it's hard to explain what it feels like to have Winston Churchill look at you and demand you make him a miracle. Later, I heard stuff about him that was disappointing, but in 1952, I can barely read this with my stupid glasses, he was still the man who held the line in 1940, who kept Charlie Chaplin at bay. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube. McKnight had some official business to discuss with Lord Harlan, so I headed up to Windsor Castle to give the abduction site a once-over. Mr. drove me up in his very pretty automobile. What kind of car it is? Notice they're driving on the wrong side of the road and on the wrong side of the car. Very nice car, but you don't see what it is. Austin Healey? Aston Martin? Jaguar? I'm curious. You're a real rule breaker, aren't you? I'm going to have to keep an eye on you. See that you do. This would make a pretty good movie, I think. Again, nuclear punch. I don't care. I hesitate saying nuclear because I know George Bush saying that nuclear triggered people for some reason, so I'm going to call him Plutonium Man. I don't care about these characters. Nobody cares about these characters. They're just, because they're going to win. None of them are going to get hurt. None of them are going to make any mistakes at all. So, great. He's a white male, so he's the bad guy, of course. But someone is already keeping an eye or three on both of us. That's kind of a clever line. You're letting us know. You know it's an alien. You know what you're dealing with. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it is. Anyone you're acquainted with. So he's cool under pressure. Afraid not. The design is similar, but definitely not the same. See, she's also cool under pressure. The facial expressions are a bit much. But still, you're not putting anyone down. They're both cool under pressure. Okay, then the little exposition from Captain Mohawk here. Damn, that punch wiped out the entire field, and he's preparing to do it again, and we can't reach him before he unleashes it. Then let me absorb the hit. You finish him off like little annoying women bees buzzing about my head. Okay, enough with the woman stuff. We get it. You have serious issues with men and women and their roles. Just stop. Go find a nice man or find a nice woman and do what men and women do best, and it'll put you in a better mood. All right, so the aliens come in form. They really seem to have it in for you. Are you sure it's not you? Couldn't be. Everybody likes me. That's pretty clever. And the alien, I don't know, does something behind them. We have him clapping his hands like the Hulk. I don't care. Except for that haircut is just stupid. Okay, she reaches into his pocket for a sidearm. What are you? I don't think they're going to leave us alone without some persuasion. So the thing about the British people back then, there was that they weren't even using 9s. They were using like 7.65s or some bizarre 32s or some really, really small, just toy caliber. Now, of course, they don't use anything because they give up their right to bear arms because they're complete and utter kittens. I'll just say that. I need to borrow your cute little device for a minute. Bullies just hate it when you hit back. Okay, so in a few little text boxes, she's telling you that she's a complete and total badass, and she doesn't find bullies acceptable. She does the bullies. She pulls out a little 7.65, and she empties a magazine at them. You see a complete different approach to things. They're both badasses. You can they're in some kind of badass car. Oh, now this almost looks like a Jaguar. And you know what? Actually, from the side, it looks like the XK140, but from the front, it looks like something else entirely. I don't think they just probably made it vaguely British. And back to Captain Marvel. I couldn't agree more. You're done. Kaboom. There's a lot of holding back in my life, not using what I have, or at least not at all, not all of it, keeping myself in check because you're so overpowered, of course. Most days require a measured response, restraint, not really. Okay, yeah, we got it. You're cool. She unloads a magazine at the aliens. Of course, it doesn't do anything. You must have another magazine for this thing. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but the Walther is for killing human beings at close range. You don't shoot down a UFO with it. She finds a smoke incendiary device. So they're taking positive steps in their self-defense. This is good to see. It's fun. And the uranium man gets beaten by what is she wearing? I mean, her hair on fire, and female Hulk, and they stand over him because, of course, he's on the ground, just totally defeated because I don't know reasons. Someone took a feminism class in college. I think someone probably took more than one feminism. All right, so she releases a smoke grenade device. Some words you can't say on YouTube. They're really funny about certain words. Okay, so he has some kind of teleportation thing because they've got to make the next issue. But I've read 5 issues of Captain Marvel, and please don't read them. Don't do that to yourself. It's oh gosh, the dialogue. He's gone. I should have realized what was happening. You couldn't have known, Carol. He was my responsibility. You had a lot of responsibility. Oh, Carol. She looks kind of like a quarterback. I mean, skinny enough to be a quarterback with the shoulder pads on, the hip pads on. And back to an interesting story. You're quite the cool-headed girl, aren't you? This isn't my first UFO attack. I've seen a lot worse than flying saucers. How awesome is this? This is a fun story. And I think this is issue number 1. I think there's 5 issues, and I hope it's ongoing. Okay, I don't care. UFO, the engine's gone dead. We're next. Come on, I bet we can outrun those goons. This is not the best plan. Happy to hear yours, Thomas. See, they've got a little back and forth going, but neither one of them looks like it. If this was a Marvel comic, the guy would look like a total bumbling, incompetent idiot because, of course, Englishmen and German men are the most hated by the NPCs. But they both look like they know what they're doing. Here, let's affirm ourselves. We're just the coolest thing we are the coolest thing since sliced pizza. I don't know. First things first, let's get everyone off this island. It's okay. You just so far up your own back hole. Show off, and you know it. Of course, why not show off? I didn't even notice that in the background. There's 2 people carrying these things. Nobody cares, dude. Space aliens, H.G. Wells. You've got the chick in a short skirt dress or something. They're firing their I don't know what they are. It seems like a stun ray kind of device. And that's Captain Marvel. Okay, she grabs a stick. She kills one of them. How cool is that? Huh? That is badass. Anyway, I thought this would be an interesting comparison, but let me know what you think. Leave a like and a comment, and I hope you enjoyed this.